do. Dr. Menon, Mr. Mittal, and friends and colleagues, it was wonderful to walk in this morning and see so many friendly and well-known faces, and also to take, I should have taken your word, Mr. Mittal, and adjusted the microphones before I started, but there we are. To see so many friendly faces and also some new faces. I think what Jawahar and his team have achieved here is remarkable, and Mr. Mittal has touched on that in providing this sort of gathering. And I was commenting to one or two colleagues when I arrived. This is the first international business incubation conference that I've participated in the 10 years that I've been involved in business incubation that is taking place in such challenging circumstances. It's typical of Jawahar to meet these things head on, and I think he should be commended for doing just that. I was reading on the BBC website this morning that the IMF has just announced that the global crisis that we're all facing to a greater or lesser degree is now the worst since the Second World War. Now, we could sit here and be miserable about that. We could sit here and say, well, we'll just give up and we'll go home. But I think what I find fascinating about an audience such as this, and this is a very diverse audience, one of the richest ones that I've seen at a conference for some time. We've got representatives from a whole range of different countries. I was looking at the program. We have people from the Philippines, Australia, Malaysia, Uganda, Sri Lanka, Italy, Libya, Indonesia, Germany, South Africa, France, Mexico, Sweden, Greece, Nepal, Iran, and also the UK. So here is an ideal opportunity for us all to join hands, because the components that exist in this audience, which are representing innovation, enterprise, research, science, investors, entrepreneurs, and there's even Julian Webb, who many of you will know, who's just walked in. I believe only arrived at 7 o'clock this morning, which is very commendable. So we have the components to be able to support our progress through the challenges that we're all going to face in the next year or so. And I think one of the great strengths of the business incubation industry across the world is how similar the language is that we all talk. We all have a different route to socio-economic growth and success and regeneration, but those are our ultimate goals. And I think that in this room today and over the next 2.5 days, we're going to have the opportunity to seek some of the solutions, because I think we are a key player in terms of trying to address many of the challenges that lie ahead as far as the global economy is concerned. I also read on the BBC website that the World Trade Organization is saying that we need to be careful not to become over-obsessed with protectionism, and we need to be collaborating with each other. Clearly that's a challenge for all of us, I guess, because we're also competing with each other. But it seems to me that business incubation is one of the tools which brings together collaboration and competition, and we need to celebrate that very fact and move forward as a consequence of it. They're also reporting that potentially there will be 60 million jobs lost across the globe as a part of this, as a minimum. So we clearly need to reconcile and understand that business incubation gives us an opportunity to replace these jobs. But not just replace them, also secure them. A lot of the work that we see in business incubation is about just creating jobs. Clearly that's important. The important thing, of course, is to secure quality jobs and to create wealth as a consequence of that. These are all key themes that I guess we'll be talking about throughout this conference. So my conclusion, really, because I only wanted to be brief, because I shall be talking more about some of my thoughts a little bit later on, that I think for the business incubation industry, it's not just a question of saying we're here. I think, given the challenges that we have globally, our time has come. And our time to stand up and actually show what we can achieve in order to address many of these huge challenges which nobody has seen in 2 generations. I think it is our opportunity to stand up and be counted both for our stakeholders and also with our politicians, and explain to them that we have what it takes to be able to improve the lot of what exists, and also to replace and improve some of the challenges that exist. As some of you will know, I have a particular problem with the word expert, and there are lots of people in this room who are hugely experienced and have far, far more experience than I do. But just on that particular issue, I met with a journalist on Tuesday, and we were talking about these issues, and he came up with a quote, which I'm not going to, obviously, I'm going to speak in English, which I thought was particularly appropriate and I think reflects one of the aspects that my good friend Jawahar has brought to this community over the last few years, which is a sense of philosophy around business incubation, innovation, entrepreneurship, which is probably unique, I think, in the world. Many of us would agree. And the quote was, what one has learnt is akin to a handful of soil, but what is yet to be learnt is as wide as the universe. Thank you very much.